A group of protesters confront the Premier in Whyalla, but there's some good news for the city. Good evening, I'm Dina Tursi, thanks for joining me. Also in tonight's bulletin, the member for Grey welcomes the government's change of plans on carbon emissions, and angry shack owners keep up the pressure. But first tonight, Premier Mike Rann led a deputation of ministers to Whyalla today for a community cabinet visit. He was met at the airport last night by angry protesters demanding answers to the controversial development of the Point Lowly Peninsula.
Protesters gathering at the airport with specially made banners to greet Mr. Rann. Concerned residents finally given the chance to tell Mr. Rann face to face what they want from the government.
Rann, we have tried through the Whyalla Major Development Steering Committee to have access to your ministers, and we have been denied that. We have written letters to Mr. Conlon, and we have not had a response from Mr. Conlon.
Mr. Rann clearly taken aback by the protesters, hitting back.
Listen to me, don't you just calm yourself down, okay? What I'm saying to you is that here we have you've got the Deputy Premier of the state, and you've got Paul Holloway, the Minister for Mines, are prepared to meet with you tomorrow. In the meantime, you will tomorrow give me a written submission that I can take to Cabinet. I want that by the time I leave tomorrow.
You won't have it tomorrow.
Oh, well, therefore you're not fair, Ding.
The Alternative Port Support Group was given the chance to meet with ministers today at morning tea. Premier Rann outlining the government's position on Port Bonython. But he wasn't willing to answer directly why the government's approved the sale of land for a new diesel facility at Port Bonython if the port hasn't been approved. And it's still unclear as to whether or not the government's considering an alternative location to Port Bonython.
We called for expressions of interest. I will insist on the toughest environmental impact that anyone has ever seen. But I guess my point is we've looked at alternatives, but these people said they were engineers and had done 6 months' work. I'd like to see that work. You can't expect me to arrive at an airport and say no to a whole series of mines and say no to thousands of jobs without showing me the proof of what they're talking about. I mean, I'd rather have a submission than a placard.
Mr. Rann saying he's here to make sure there's jobs for the region.
Why have I come here for 30-odd years and people have always said we want jobs? We want you to save jobs and secure jobs for the future. That's what I'm on about.
Melissa Vanderhaak,